Hi everyone.
Good morning.
Ciao. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you, Leonardo.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Stefan.
Hi, Leonardo.
Let's wait
Hello.
to let people join.
Yeah. Siamo solo noi italiani, quindi possiamo parlare italiano.
Sì.
Ecco, è arrivato qualcun altro, vediamo. Loris, so, niente, let's switch to English.
No, va bene l'italiano.
Ah, Loris, scusami, sì, pensavo che eri spagnolo.
No.
Italiano.
Hi, Jonah.
I live in California, but I still remember Italian.
I live in California, wow.
Hi, Nestor.
Nestor, how are you?
Hello, morning. Or morning. Or for some of you. Yeah.
It's evening
Hello.
here.
Okay.
Hola, Nestor.
Hola.
By the way, if I go offline, please continue the call because today I had some issue with my internet connection.
No problem.
Okay.
And please put your name under the "We joined" section.
Can you just pass us the link, Loris?
Yeah, is in the Zoom chat.
I don't see it.
No, I can put it again. Do you see it now?
Yeah, I can see now.
Okay.
I think if you join later, you don't see the previous message.
Yeah. You're right. Hi, Domenico. Hi, Leo.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I think we can start, and meanwhile other people will join. So, welcome everyone to the last episode, at least for this year, of our Wiki Community Call. As maybe you already know, this is the last meeting for this year. I want just to remember you that this call is recorded. So if you don't want to be recorded, please drop off or just stop your video. Okay, we can start with this week highlights. As I said, this is the last meeting of this year. The next community call is scheduled for December 13th. So please don't join us next week. That's important. And another highlights, we created a working group.
You meant January 13th. Leo.
Yeah, sorry, January 13th.
Yeah, you said December, so January 13th.
Yeah. December 13th was in the past. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I was saying we created a working group for the Falco website for the documentation in particular. Leo Di Donato already sent some update in the mailing list. Basically, the top topics we are working on is the documentation versioning and video section, and also we are fixing the logos and things like that. But except for that, I think the pull request started by Lorenzo is already in a good shape. If Leonardo, Lorenzo,
there's also I think that maybe probably is important is that if we want the adopters markdown file that we have on the Falco repository to be somehow synced with the homepage of the falco.org website. Now it's manual. On the old website, we have a manual section where we list end users, and I don't remember what other things we list about companies that use Falco. But the CNCF guidelines recommend to, since Raja wanted to switch that page to a secondary page, but we also found that the CNCF guidelines in reality recommend to list end users on the home page.
Ah, okay, perfect. And
we need to add that to the home page.
And also, I think it's the easier way to do that. Of course, just put log on the page. I personally agree. I think I don't know all of you, but I think it's okay. Okay. If there is nothing more on the website, we can go with our today agenda. The first point is fine-tuning of meta GitHub links in the new website. Leo Di Donato, please.
Oh yeah, it's just a tiny thing. It's basically now in the new website we will have edit this page or create documentation issue or create project issue directly from the website with a meta menu on the right side of the page, which I find very, very useful for people wanting to contribute, maybe also through GitHub user interface. Because if you go on the, please Leo, go on the Netlify
I'm
preview.
looking for the preview, exactly. Okay.
Open documentation, yes. Here on the right side.
You're talking about this, yeah?
Yeah, I fixed these links. Basically, if you click create documentation issue, now it opens a kind of issue, which is of the area documentation. It pre-populates the title with the title of the page that you're editing, and you can open an issue about this directly with the template almost filled in. If you click create project issue, it will let you decide what kind of issue you want to open. So a blog content request, a bug report, things like that. It's just a very, very maniacal detail. I don't know how to say in English, but I think it's important. You know that I like these kind of things. Also, the other links works pretty well. Create child page and edit page, and let you edit the page in the GitHub user interface. So without having another editor.
For example, if I click on this, I can edit the documentation
and submit
page.
A pull request. Yes.
Perfect. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you, Leo, for that. Very cool.
You're welcome.
And just one thing. Since we are here, I'm working on the documentation versioning. I wanted just to show you the preview. This basically will be the archived version of the current version. Of course, the new version, the 0.27, will use the new template and so on. It's in the same way the Kubernetes documentation does. So I think it's pretty standard. Okay, let's go with the next point is, again, Leo.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to monopolize the call. It's just another little thing. Basically, I'm working on a tool. I completed it, but I need to create a pro job that wraps it, a periodic pro job, so that periodically we will have our beloved Poiana bot that queries the entire Falco security organization repos, fetch all the owners file, also the nested one. For example, in the Falco repository, we have Kaiser, which is a maintainer of the rules, but not of all the repository, and creates a YAML file that we will put in the .github repository, and we'll use that to declare the maintainers of the Falco security projects. And the YAML file will contain companies, name, GitHub handle, GitHub projects maintained. I should have somewhere. Probably I passed in some chat, but I don't remember where. Some YAML. I need to do the last part. So the bot that checks whether something has changed and needs to open a PR to update that file.
Okay, and I guess this file then will be used by the
CNCF. Yep.
to grab the, okay, it will be our official list of contributors.
Yeah, because now we have a lot of owners file, a lot of projects, and we need a central way, easy understandable, sorry, for people to understand who maintains what.
Perfect. Thank you again. And it's still you with Jonah about the driver version that seems to be ready.
Yeah, well, this is mainly thanks to Jonah that had the patience to fix pro jobs for building and publishing the drivers. And so now we have the drivers for 5C. I don't remember the hash, but basically that's the driver version that will be used in January from Falco 027.
Yeah. Jonah, do you want to add something?
No, I think it's good. We just have a bunch of pull requests. We need to get them all in. They're all kind of on the same thing, but the tests take like 12 hours. So we just need to figure out if there's a faster way to get those through, but it looks good.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
this
you, Jonah.
great job. There is another point with another PR by Lore, but there is no link.
Yeah,
So
well, I forgot.
Is it.
I forgot to put the link
Maybe
there.
Lore, do you want to say something? I don't know. If he's here, Lore?
It's muted. Lore. Well, I can say,
okay.
Basically, Lore opened another PR because in the meantime that we were fixing the publishing of the drivers, other kernel release have been published, so Lore updated other YAML files for having newer kernel release drivers for newer kernel release.
Okay.
Yes, this is the PR. Also here there are last fixes with make files to do, but
hey, sorry, my mouse wasn't working. I couldn't unmute myself. So yeah, there's a make file because we need to check for the BPF probe to not be there instead of trying to publish them. Just that. If anyone wants to approve it, it's gonna be merged.
I should have approved it, Lore.
Yeah, I'm
We
just
need
out
another
of sync.
Okay. No
yes,
worries.
it's approved. Okay. Next point. Yeah, I know about this. We need the Slack channel for working groups. This is a very important topic. I remember we talked already in the past.
Yeah, Lore past week already did some moves, tried to ask newer Slack channels on the Kubernetes Slack. Lore, maybe you want to update us on
Yes,
what's the problem?
just
Yeah,
to give a bit. Sorry, just to give a bit more context. We can have how many channels we want in the CNCF Slack, if I'm correct. But since we now are we moved on the Kubernetes Slack, we need to do something. I don't know what to ask other channels, if it is possible. Please,
So
go
a bit of historical context. The Falco channel region was on the SysDig open source Slack, where we still have the Falco maintainers channel, which is still kind of used today. And we also have and then we moved the Falco channel to the Kubernetes Slack. While doing that, we were also very confused, and we also opened a Falco channel in the CNCF Slack, and you have a Falco maintainers channel in CNCF Slack and a Falco infra channel in the CNCF Slack and many Falco something channels in the CNCF Slack. So if we want to open this jar and make this happen, we should really come up with a proposal that comes out with also deleting the things that you don't want to have, and we put a final mark with clarity on the things, because users are getting confused. They join the channels, no one replies to them. So that's my take on it. I try to ask the Kubernetes Slack admins a channel in the Kubernetes Slack, because it was an easy option for us to have a Falco test infra, and they pushed back because I mean, okay, having a Falco channel is good, but they consider the Falco channel that you have in Kubernetes Slack as a channel where we aggregate the conversations around Kubernetes and Falco, and not as a Falco channel. So I mean, it will be always like this. We are going to stick with only one channel if we keep with this. So we can have channels in other Slacks. We can move everything. We can switch to IRC as someone suggested, but it will always be a problem unless we sit down to a table and decide very clearly what we want. End of the context.
First of all, another maybe little bit of additional context in addition to the great explanation that Lorenzo did. Yeah, originally, so Falco started originally as an internal project for SysDig. So originally we created the channel under the SysDig open source Slack. This was problematic for the CNCF because it was SysDig in practice. That is open source SysDig and doesn't have anything to do with the company. But unfortunately, it has the same name of the company because we have an open source project which is popular called SysDig, which essentially has the same name of the company. And so the CNCF recommended that we move somewhere else because they thought there was not a vendor neutral place. At that point, we had many choices, and the fact that we have an history of channels pretty much everywhere is because we were probably not very convinced of the different choices, but the choice was between a channel in the CNCF Slack and a channel in the Kubernetes Slack. We picked, in the end, Kubernetes because we felt like everybody's already there. So it was easier for people to reach us. And in fact, I still find it useful because in the channel, really, if you want to talk to a person in the community, you know that they are in the channel. So it's almost like a Slack for the whole community, while the CNCF is more like much smaller and more like specific for the projects. And the transition, of course, was pretty painful because at that point we had already thousands of users in the Slack, and we sent a message, but not all of them migrated. I think it was the right choice, but the drawback with the Kubernetes Slack is that it's a huge Slack with a gazillion channels already. So the moderators are hard to convince, very hard to convince to create new channels. So the problem with being on the Kubernetes channel is exactly what we're seeing. We don't have freedom to create channels at will if we need them, maybe even temporarily. That is the context. Now, for the solution, I am not sure exactly what we want to do. I would love to hear from everybody. I think that moving the official channel one more time would be extremely painful for everybody, including us, who are active on the channel. There's history, there's everything else. So ideally, I would, if possible, like to avoid it. But at the same time, yes, there's this problem that we don't have flexibility. And as the community grows, as we can see, we want to create or destroy, channels, and that's not really possible. So yeah, I don't have an answer. I just want people to be fully aware of the situation, and we probably need to discuss.
I have a very simple proposal. Actually, it's not a proposal, just an idea. In order to keep it very simple, I think, but it's just a personal thinking. We can still keep the channel in the Kubernetes Slack, the main channel that is for all the community. And every time we need to create a channel for a small group, like the working group or a channel for maintainers, we could ask to create it in the CNCF Slack. This because at least people that are in working group are usually maintainers or contributors. So it's easier to say to them, okay, for this specific working group, we have a Slack channel in the CNCF. I think this could be a very simple solution, at least for now. I don't know what you all think about this.
Leonardo, I think I'm probably the last one who should comment on this, but I agree with you. But from my overview, I just was listening the way you guys defined and outlined how it was originally planned and now how it's planned. I think that the community is too small to be branched into multiple channels. And I hear what Loris is saying is very painful. It's going to be migrated, but you don't have, I mean, usually the open source community projects, they shouldn't be relying on technologies like Slack, like, I don't know, Microsoft Teams or whatsoever. You should be more free. And there are a hell of alternatives like a Mattermost, like open source technologies, competitors of Slack that can be done. I think the community channel should be on open platforms. Like we could, as I said, just an idea, we could use a Mattermost, and for maintainers and small worker group relating, you could even use like things like Telegram. I mean. But the main reference channel should be concentrated on one specific area, and that can't be Slack, I think, from the way I see, and that's based on your description on the problems that you're having currently. Even connecting to Kubernetes, I don't understand the relationship, that why Falco is tied with the Kubernetes and why it has to be under Kubernetes channel. It's an open community, it's an independent community. It shouldn't be tied with any other project. It should be, and when it grows slowly, it becomes bigger project, bigger team. It automatically, it will structure itself. I mean, drag along. I don't see it right now, creating multiple, branches in different platforms. I personally would be opting for a single channel, and all we have to do is just decide where. So you mentioned the IRC, I said Mattermost, I don't know, someone else would mention Telegram. I mean, this shouldn't be even a big deal. And Loris, to answer your question, I would wipe whatever is on the current Slack channel and start from scratch, because you have no way of migrating. Or there is no point of migrating whatever that you have is just chatting there. I mean, you have a GitLab, you have a tracking issue trackers, you have tasks there. Everything is already on the GitHub. There's no point, carrying behind the messaging.
Yeah. I can agree. What I was proposing was only for small groups, for working groups mainly. That are people that need
small groups. You're flexible. You can,
and exactly for this reason they can be anywhere. And since a lot of maintainers are under the CNCF umbrella, usually
it can be there. Yeah,
it can be there just because it's convenient.
Yeah, I think we should focus on the main channel. So where is
the main channel? In my opinion, I understand your point, but in my opinion, it should be there. Where is it now? Because another migration could be
painful and loss of
exactly.
Extremely painful.
And also because even it's not really bind to Kubernetes, but in some way it makes sense that we are
exactly. Sorry, Leonardo, to interrupt you. So if tomorrow Falco project goes bigger, like let's say you got 10,000, 20,000, would that be okay to be tied with the Kubernetes? This is my question.
I
You have to think, ahead.
I
So
personally
it's going to be more
think
painful.
so. I think so for a couple of reasons. One is the Kubernetes Slack is already does that amount of users even more. But also there are the Kubernetes Slack is nowadays not only Kubernetes but a bunch of stuff around Kubernetes. So even many CNCF projects have their channels on Kubernetes, exactly because it's really it's called Kubernetes, but it's more like the aggregator for a lot of the community projects, much more than the CNCF Slack, in my opinion. And as a consequence, I don't think that even if Falco grows a lot, Kubernetes is the wrong place to be in terms of Slack. And as I was saying, when you're there, you have the guarantee that anybody that wants to essentially talk about Falco in the world is already on the channel. So they don't have to sign up to a different thing or follow instructions and so on, because everybody already is on the Slack, guaranteed. So even if the name is not maybe super intuitive because you have Falco under the Kubernetes Slack, in practice, it's like having, I don't know, Istio, which is under the Kubernetes Slack, or many other, and that is fine. The only problem there is that there's less flexibility because we do not control the Slack. That's the problem.
Can I raise another
Sorry.
another matter, Loris? Regardless, you mentioned Kubernetes. Kubernetes is just an orchestrator of Docker containers. So there are several other orchestrators. Why we are discriminating others? Why we are not tied with others? So I am raising this question, and it's going to be raised in the future. Expect it. It's going to be raised by everyone. So why? So we are tied with the Kubernetes. Why?
Anyway, sorry if I interrupt you, but I didn't want to jeopardize the discussion under this point also, because there is Thomas that wanted to say something he wrote in the chat.
Right.
So Loris, if you want to answer quickly, and then we can move on the next point. Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, we have a real moderator.
Interesting.
By the way, one thing that we can do maybe is we can move the discussion to
offline. Yeah.
Offline, all the maintainers.
Either offline
let's discuss in January. Okay, put it in agenda, Leonardo.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Or if it's if it's important enough, we can either create like a little working group or something to talk in a separate call.
Yeah, without overcomplicating, we can discuss in January. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Anyway, you can discuss about that in the Slack channel, wherever you want. We can start a conversation there. Okay, let's move on. I added just a small point that if nobody disagree, I want to archive the HackMD note, because in my opinion, it's too big now, even if we should wait for the next release. But at least I have some issue with my browser with this so big file. So if nobody disagree, I will do that.
Thumbs up for me.
Okay, thank you. I think also for Thomas. There is another point that the last point that I don't know what it is about.
I raised this one.
You, Jonas, please tell us.
Yeah, so we had talked about this earlier. Basically, there's a new Docker registry, Docker hub kind of thing that we published at EPR. And so we never made or pushed a Falco image here, but Sumo Logic has, and people are using this. And so this raises the question, do we want to publish one? Because I can get us a verified badge if we publish one and make it part of our CI workflow. Otherwise, it's gonna, all the data and telemetry, is gonna be going to Sumo Logic, because they're kind of the only one that's supporting this right now publicly. Obviously, I don't want to, play favorites with vendors, or, I know we pushed a Docker Hub currently as the choice. I just was raising this as an awareness that, this is the company that has uploaded one and people are using it currently. So if we want to do one, then we probably should try to do it soon. And I can help out with that. I can make the PR and get us the verified account status whenever if we decide to do this. So, but
Yeah,
also,
as I said, my idea here is to we should have one. If you want, we really love you to put a bit of YAML into the Circle CI config of Falco main repository. So to publish also to these other repository. In the future, we could also publish to other repositories, to other registries, because I think it's important to cover more registries as possible, as far as we keep well-defined the Docker hub as the main one, the main registry that we support, which doesn't mean that we can't publish to others. Just we give first-class support for the Docker hub, and we also publish to the others. This is my point of view.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, Jonah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, even just making this like a job that runs after the Docker Hub push, like the Docker one has to succeed, and then we will push it, right?
Yep.
And I was just going to say, I believe that it's important for this to be vendor neutral. Otherwise, it's at the minimum confusing, to see a package that is essentially not coming from the community.
Yeah. Sumo Logic / Falco. Yep.
Yeah. So okay. I tried to make a PR against Falco earlier this week. I don't have the owner permission. And if I fork it and make it a PR, it's not going to run the jobs because it won't have the context. Is there any way I could get added so I can make that?
In reality, this is a good point, because to become a maintainer of Falco, I mean, the governance is pretty clear. What we can do, if you prepare the patch, so the changes that needs to implement this, one of me, Grasso, or Lore, or other maintainers, Kai's Stem, could open the PR for you. That would make Circle CI grab the changes. Otherwise, we could temporarily change the configuration on Circle CI, because it's just a configuration that disables CI changes for PRs coming from forks.
Yeah.
Either way, we can make it work really sooner than having to wait for you to be in the owners of Falco, which is something that I'd love in the future. But the governance is pretty clear.
For sure, yeah. I can send it over to you. I don't know if it's 100% going to work, so we might have to iterate a little bit, but I do have it ready, so I'll just.
No worries. Send to me. We'll send it together.
Perfect. Leo, can I ask you to update the meeting note about that if there are some action needed, because I have some problem with my browser, some issue with my browser.
Oh, Wayland, why you stick with Wayland?
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Go back to X.
No. Currently, I have two computers. I'm screen sharing with the Mac, but I have some issue on the Mac too.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. I think now it's the turn of Thomas. Thomas, do you want to say something to us? Welcome. Go, please.
This is a really quick point. As you have made noticed already, Falco Psychic is changing a lot for the better, I hope. And I just want to ask everybody if you agree to add Carlos Panato as an official maintainer, because he helps me a lot with the tool. He knows well the code base now, and he's really an expert with Helm chart. So if everybody agrees, I would like to create the people request for adding him as the official maintainer.
I agree.
I totally agree.
I've seen like 20 PRs pull requests coming from Carlos during the weekend. My smartphone was on fire.
Sure, for the better. He fixed some errors for me. So thanks to him. Okay, so
feel free to do it. Yes.
I promised
Carl-
to him to ask today, so I wanted to.
Yeah.
Tell.
And by the way, you're a maintainer. You could have just opened the PR for adding it to the owners.
Yeah, sure, but
No worries.
I wanted to expose the situation to everybody because.
Yeah, exactly. At the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time,
don't worry.
thank you for running it by everybody. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I want also to add that Carlos is doing a really great job. And by the way, if I'm not wrong, it's his birthday today. Yeah, but he's not here, so we cannot say
Well, the meeting is recorded, so happy birthday, Carlos.
happy birthday, Carlos.
Bon anniversaire.
Okay. I think we completed the point for today, but if someone wants to add more topic or want to just ask a question or say something else, please feel free to speak.
Since it's the last meeting of the year, I just want to thank and congratulate everybody in the call and the Falco community at large. It was a big year, strange year because we never met in person pretty much this year as a community, but also a lot of work done, a lot of progress, a lot of new faces, and just feels good to be part of this community. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you also, Lorenzo and everyone else.
Thank you, everybody. I think it's too early to ask someone if wanted to be the MC of the next call in January, but if there is yet some volunteer, raise an hand. No problem. Okay, we will ask the same question in the Slack channel in January.
Let's wait for the next year to come. We don't know what to expect us.
Yeah,
exactly.
It can be disaster. It can be catastrophe.
Aliens, I don't know.
Good
we don't
point.
know.
COVID hits the whole world and we get extinguished.
COVID-20, next version of COVID. Yeah, well, let's wait. Let's wait.
Exactly.
Let's wait.
Let's not be ahead of ourselves.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a good day, everyone.
So,
thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.